10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to The Weekly Trend, a podcast for navigating the markets through the lens of technical analysis. The Weekly Trend podcast is provided for educational purposes only and does not constitute any professional advice. Listeners should not act upon the information or content without first seeking advice from a registered financial planner.
Welcome back to the Weekly Trend Podcast. It is Friday, June 12th, 2026. S&P 500 currently sitting at 7403. I'm David Zarling. I'm here with Ian McMillan. Probably should start with one of the bigger events in market history, the IPO of SpaceX. 75 billion, second largest. Saudi Aramco in 2019, 25 billion. So 3 times the size IPO.
What is the value of the company at? 75? No.
Well, it's a 75 billion base offering. So
the market cap is 1.7 trillion.
Right.
That's big. How much did you
It
buy?
is big.
Did you get in?
Just started trading.
Oh, you didn't get like a pre-IPO allocation?
No, didn't underwrite it. Didn't get the pre-IPO. But
Sitting on your hands.
Gonna be the NASDAQ. It's gonna be in telecom. Not gonna be in S&P or like transportation.
And these indices have to go buy it on the open market, correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding. In
And
order
the
to get there.
and these ETFs have to go buy it on the open market.
Yep.
So I guess you would see that today. You would see whoever, funds that have to add shares to, because they track some type of index, right? You'd have to wait until shares are available, sell out pro rata, carve out a piece for your SpaceX allocation, and then I guess buy them on the open market.
Yeah, it's 555,555,555 shares at $135. Underwritten by Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citigroup, JP Morgan. NASDAQ 100 made exceptions. FTSE Russell allowed for fast entry for SpaceX. S&P stood its ground or pulled back. They were going to make an exception.
Yeah.
They didn't. Dow Jones did not. It'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. Got to have some price history, though, first, right?
I've got price history. You pull up a 1 minute chart. I've got like 17 candles. You can trade.
Well, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to what do you feel the sentiment is behind this?
I think it's pretty split. I think most people agree it shouldn't be added to an index. You shouldn't amend the rules to immediately add it to an index. Now, whether the stock goes up or down, I feel like people are pretty split.
Yeah, agreed. But it's definitely historic. Largest IPO of anybody listening's a lifetime.
I don't know if I'm quite at this is going to mark a top. Could mark a top. I don't think this is the end of whatever we're in the midst of right now.
From a broad market perspective.
From a broad market perspective, yeah.
I think it's fair. I think it's interesting that, on a day like today, you got small caps trying to break out to 52-week highs.
They're trying. Well, that would be all-time highs then too, right?
Well, all-time highs for small caps, and then versus S&P, 52-week highs.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's a nice hold in the 200-day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad looking.
You look at a long-term chart of Dow Jones versus S&P. Bouncing pretty hard at levels that we last saw in 1903, 1981, and 1985. Wouldn't that be something you have the largest IPO in history that's not being held by the Dow Jones, and Dow Jones outperforms from here?
Well, the Dow needs a win, so It needs
It
to.
does.
It needs a W in the correct decision column because recent history not amazing.
I mean, you know, I know a lot of people like to slam the Dow Jones as like a boomer index. It's a price index. You tally up the top.
Yeah, one of those people.
Yeah, and I get it. When you look back at history and how it was developed, I understand how it came to be because it's a
Yeah,
lot easier.
it made sense before anyone ever had the concept of like, oh, we're gonna have to like split, or yeah, that anyone thought that shares were gonna be $600.
Or yeah, like that you have to have cap weighting
Yeah,
or equal weighting. It
I mean,
made sense.
I'm surprised it survived. I'm surprised it's still done a good job tracking
Well, Papa
the
Dow
broad
is pretty
market.
correlated. I mean,
Yeah,
Dow Jones, S&P, Nasdaq, heavily
not on a
correlated.
day to day or week to week, but yeah, I
But
mean,
it makes sense if you're looking at a newspaper. Charles Dow's looking at a newspaper, and he's like, "Well, I'll just take the top 30 price stocks, tally them up, and I'm just going to track
those are
that going
clearly
forward."
the
That makes
best.
sense.
Those are clearly. 'Cause I'm sure everything used to IPO like $1 a share.
I'm sure that's changed over time for sure.
Yeah, but think how much like $1 used to be.
Oh, I remember my grandmama, now in heaven.
You was buying stocks?
No, no. I remember her talking about this must have been right after, or somewhere in the Great Depression that she was responsible for going to the store, getting some bones for bone broth, dropped a nickel by accident in the lawn, going back to the house, and all the family out in the lawn looking for a nickel. Inflation be real. And that's, this goes back to why are we involved in markets? Well, we're involved in markets not because they're fun or entertaining, although, man, how many platforms and advertisements and things you see. It's the gambler addict emotional high of being involved in something where really the reason why we're involved in markets is just to protect our purchasing power. Simple as that, which isn't sexy, right? That's not emotional. And, I suppose in some sense, SpaceX is a really sexy IPO. And more to come, with some of the AI, with Anthropic and OpenAI coming down the road too. And to me, I feel like the narrative is that this isn't good, that these IPOs are marking a top. That could definitely be a thing.
Listen to this. So they didn't really have IPOs back in the day. If you wanted to raise money, you would just issue shares at a par value, which they used as $100.
Okay.
Yeah, think of $100 in like 1890. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Until 1915, stocks on the NYSE were quoted and traded as a percentage of their par value rather than an exact dollar amount. If a $100 par value stock was trading at 95, the actual price was 95.
Fascinating.
The more you know.
Well, yeah, and we can be thankful for the markets that we have, in the United States. I know we have a lot of European visitors for the World Cup, but the United States, all of our exchanges communicate with each other. Not so much in Europe. And I remember my dad talking about having a $2,000 minimum on a mutual fund and having to pay the front load fee. And now you can open up a supercomputer out of your pocket, press a button, and have shares, sometimes fractionally, on something that you want to own. No fee. It's crazy.
It is.
What do you think about I'm going to throw out a thesis that SpaceX is the new railroad. Railroads used to be, people complain about the weighting of the top 10 stocks in the S&P 500 currently. I mean, railroads used to be just huge cap weighting. What do you think about SpaceX being the new railroad? The way we transport things to and from space.
I mean, it could be. I guess you'd have to have a pretty long-term view on the company.
I mean, they have some type of moat. I mean, they do have reusable rockets. I'm not really aware of any other company that has reusable rockets. And frankly, I think you do have to give kudos a little bit to Elon Musk for his ingenuity in this. But, Starlink, satellites, transportation to
figured
and
out a
from
lot.
space.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not a hater on his wealth or his successes. Definitely, I mean, he seems like a pretty, I don't know, gets a little touch of autism sometimes.
Yeah.
Let that out on Twitter, but other than that, I mean, I think he's done a lot more good for humanity than a lot of other people.
I mean, think about the stuff he's done, whether it's Tesla, SpaceX, Doge, like,
Yeah, Doji kind of got stonewalled on, but
oh yeah, but he obviously showed that there's some
yeah,
government financial issues, which we kind of knew, but he made them concrete for the citizens of this great country. And I'm sure there's haters out there, but at the same time, he worked on hard problems. How do we handle transportation without gasoline? How do we move things to and from space consistently without, I mean, reusable rockets? Like, think about that. Like, we in the current era,
yeah,
reusable rockets, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we're doing it with SpaceX, but like before SpaceX, reusable rockets, that's crazy. And so I give the guy a lot of credit. However this IPO turns out, like however this turns out, whether this is marking a top of some kind, I don't know. Wish I knew. We ask ourselves that every single day. Anybody know? Nobody knows. And that's okay. That's why we use price. And it'll be great to study SpaceX price from today going forward. So the whole episode is not going to be about SpaceX in case everybody's worried. What else are we seeing out there from a market perspective that's intriguing or worth letting our listeners know about?
I don't know. I mean, not a lot has changed. Obviously, a little correction in stocks. I mean, you mentioned Russell's already back to all-time highs. I mean, not much has changed. Tech still clear leader. Energy not too bad. Guess the dollar's been a little stronger. Can't get above 100 though. So yeah, back in the 99s on Dixie.
Yeah, what do you think about banks going to new all-time highs using KBWB?
Yeah, it's unfortunate on the relative. What's that look like? KBW. Oh, see, I put on KBE. Wrong one.
You got banks going out to new all-time highs. Largest industry segment in small caps at 9.5%. You mentioned small caps going out to new all-time highs. Global financials using IXG, or let's even use GSIB.
And I ask, what's your global? Yeah, those look pretty good, don't they?
Whether they have alpha generating capability, I don't know, but the fact that financials are participating, XLF back above a 200-day moving average.
I assume JP Morgan's doing well.
JP Morgan above a 200-day, not at new all-time highs yet. On a relative basis, still some work to do. But if you're seeing financials do well on an absolute basis, pretty hard to get overly bearish on a market.
Yeah, I mean, Morgan Stanley looks good. Pretty clean relative chart. Holding its breakout from early June last week. So you're saying that I shouldn't be scared. I just need to chill out.
I think it's always appropriate to have multiple theses. You can't rest on a 30-point lead in an NBA Finals game. You gotta finish it. So yeah, you want to see SpaceX do well? You want to see financials continue to hold up? You want to see broker dealers and regional banks confirm new all-time highs? Those are the things you want to see. And I will say that CCC credit spreads, a measure of liquidity and market health, continue to climb a little bit. So yeah, there's some concern there. But when you look at some economically sensitive areas like industrials, or you're like something like Freeport, McMoran, there's some things there. I think you highlighted this week that, the industrial sector is large enough stock-wise that you're always going to find something that's working. But I think it matters that IYT, transportation, new all-time highs. What about semiconductors? What are we seeing out of there?
Same old. What's that Michigan thing? University of Michigan.
Oh, Big Blue?
Don't they put out something? Survey?
Michigan Sentiment Survey, Michigan.
How's
Probably.
that?
I don't know.
Survey Research Center. Consumer sentiment.
Yeah. You invest on that?
I don't know where I was going with that.
Okay. But I think semiconductors going to new all-time highs, stacking new all-time highs versus tech overall. SpaceX IPO, worrisome. Could be.
What about the other, like, what about, Apple's done okay. I think Microsoft still looks terrible. I do wonder about the mega caps.
Yeah. Yeah. Mega cap using MGC, not near a new all-time high. When you look at like IWC, so micro caps versus MGC,
They've got to be doing great.
almost to 52-week highs.
One that never got going was biotech.
I know. Sad.
Maybe it will. I mean, banks started going. Are regional banks as good as big banks?
No.
No.
You mentioned the dollar being below 100.
Got to be
But
good.
right there.
For now.
But right there. For now.
While we're still in this weak dollar is good for stocks environment. What about gold? Silver. Are we going to see another run here? I think we're below the 200-day on gold and silver, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah, so upward sloping. However, if
You could
got
see
a
an aggressive-
if you got a recovery here in gold or silver, silver is technically, it's right there. If you got a recovery, it's pretty good. If you look at SLV, 61. If you held that and the 200-day.
I mean, it had such an aggressive move from May of last year through January of this year. Yeah, if that got going again, could see that. Probably in a lower dollar environment. Could happen.
Yeah, you probably need that tailwind. No, I don't think you can wait for Dixie. New lows in Dixie would be what? 6-ish?
Yeah.
Which we've tried a few times to no avail. But
Yeah,
at least we're
basically
under 100.
Yep. From April last year through now, been sitting between 96 and 100. Sitting at 99.75 right now. Does it break through? What does that mean?
Did you mention transports earlier?
Yep. New all-time highs.
Very impressive grouping of stocks.
Agreed.
Especially the trucking,
Yeah.
your night swifts.
Trucks are reusable. Trucks are reusable too. Movement of goods on land.
Things like United Rentals. Looks
United
strong.
Rentals. Yeah. United Rentals. Where does that fall? Is that
Pretty good.
discretionary?
No, that's industrials. While you could put it under finance, under leasing.
Okay.
I don't really like that. I get it. I don't really like that. I would put it in consumer discretionary before leasing, like a rent-a-center. Would you put a rent-a-center? Is it publicly traded? Someone probably owns it.
Yeah, I'd love to see consumer discretionary get going here.
Well, talk to Jeff. Amazon's not really doing too much. Failed breakout below 250, 258, 215. We're going to call that in there. Back down to its 200-day, but still in a rate of trend. Off the 03 lows, 02 lows, technically, I guess. Late 2002.
You've got a relationship that we like to look at, high beta versus low vol, holding a 50-day, rising 50-day moving average. Not a new all-time highs yet, but doing pretty good. Momentum factor, if we use something like SPMO versus S&P, new all-time highs. Speaking of momentum factor, new all-time highs, good to highlight the support of this podcast, the Adaptive Select ETF listed on the New York Stock Exchange under ticker ADPV, which helps investors access two of the most prevalent factors in markets, momentum and relative strength. Using proprietary identification methods, the Adaptive Select ETF attempts to own the strongest 25 large cap stocks when the market is in uptrend. And since not all market environments are the same, Adaptive Select seeks to prevent extended declines by moving to short-term treasury bills and cash during long-term market downtrends. Investors can find out more, including how to invest in ADPV by visiting adpvetf.com or calling 1-833-880-5200. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. ADV is distributed by Quasar Distributors, LLC. What else, Ian? What else is worth highlighting for our listeners before we sign off?
You catch the end of the World Cup games?
Yeah, I watched South Korea, Czech.
That was the one last night, right?
That was the one last night.
South Korea won.
Happy South Korea won. They were the better team, possessed the ball. Really good midfield play, some really good runs by the forwards. They deserve to win. I mean, the Czech goal was very nice on a throw-in, but you got a team, USA, doing it all?
Yeah, I'll cheer for the U.S. I'm a Patriot.
Of course. Red, white, and blue today, baby.
That's where I'm at.
Can I get-
We'll watch it tonight, I'm sure.
Yep. On this evening against Paraguay. Going to be great. 2-1 victory, probably.
Is that where you're going?
Otherwise
You'd want?
Yeah, 2-1.
Do you lock it in on Kalshi?
Nope. Don't really play that game. I know there's plenty of people who do, but I like US's attack style.
Do you like the kind of... My friends who are into soccer don't like the coach.
Yeah, it's hard because he wasn't the primary coach we wanted after the last coach, but there's some things there. I mean, they're much more on the attack, a little higher line play. I think they'll do great in group play. What they do after that, I don't know.
Do we have an easy group?
Easier.
Okay.
Easier. It'll be. I mean, it should be.
Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey.
Right. That's an easier group.
I saw where we could potentially play England on the 4th of July.
Love it.
In Philadelphia.
Ugh. Let's do that. That sounds like a great storyline.
I think we have to win our group. They have to finish second, and then both teams win their round of 32 game.
Okay. So advance out of group play, US 1, England 2, and then win their next game, and they could be playing on the 4th of July.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah, let's do it.
The ghosts of George Washington will rise.
Why not?
I would do that.
Love it.
I would use one of those Project Blue Beams, and I'd make the ghost of all the forefathers appear. And they would give a scolding to our population for how we're behaving right now.
Yeah, for reals. But no, it should be awesome. I mean, huge fan of World Cup. It's going to be great. Not going to a game. I mean, ticket prices are ridiculous. Maybe that's why some of the seats are empty. Maybe FIFA needs to get their act together.
Yeah, it was dumb. And them taking away tailgating. So stupid.
Yeah. Lame.
Although Philadelphia said no, they're going to allow it. I don't know if any other cities said that they were going to allow it, but...
Probably not Seattle. They're no fun zone.
NFZ.
Yeah.
No tailgating inside the Chaz. Isn't that what they called it? Oh. It's okay. We can make fun of them. I bet no one in the Chaz listens to our podcast.
Probably not. I would guess
Probably not. I'm going to go out on a limb.
You go on a limb saying people of the Chaz do not listen to the podcast. 100% agree with that. All right. Anything else? Anything else before we get out of here? Tell our listeners, give us a high ranking of choice on their platform.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, markets, it's an uptrend. I can't give you a degree of the healthiness of the uptrend, but it's not particularly unhealthy, I don't think, as much as some may make it out to be.
You mean from like a breadth perspective?
Yeah. I mean, if Russell, I get the breadth thing, but then also if Russell is the first to all-time highs after this little correction, I don't know. Probably not terrible. Probably not terrible.
And you got transports.
Banks, transports.
Yeah, those are characteristics of bullish behavior, for sure. Well, love being back on here with you.
Yeah, glad
Appreciate
to have
you and Kevin covering ground last week. And to everybody listening, we ask you to share it with your friends, family. It's a compliment to us. Give us a high ranking in your platform of choice. Get the word out. We really appreciate it.
Have a great weekend, everyone.